The Inspector of Constabularies, new Inspector of Constabulary, Matt Parr, has said that the Metropolitan Police's approach to tackling corruption is not fit for purpose. Now, why the fuck does it take someone who's been given a highly paid job to say this and get noticed, when so many members of the public have been saying it for so long and just simply ignored? According to a report published on Tuesday, the force has not learned its lessons from the unsolved murder of Daniel Morgan, and its procedures for rooting out corrupt staff are fundamentally flawed. This report comes after the Inspector of Constabulary was called in after an independent inquiry into how the Metropolitan Police handled Mr. Morgan's case, found it was institutionally corrupt, saying it had concealed or denied failings to protect its reputation. Matt Parr said that the Met had sometimes behaved in ways that make it appear arrogant, secretive and lethargic, and that the watchdog's 20 recommendations for change must be among the new Commissioner's highest priorities in order to restore public trust in the force. Sometimes behaved in a way that makes it appear arrogant. Well, that's a fucking understatement. They are a not fit for purpose organisation of thundercunts. Which I think Matt Parr highlights when he says, it is unacceptable that 35 years after Daniel Morgan's murder, the Metropolitan Police have not done enough to ensure its failings from that investigation cannot be repeated. He added, in fact, we found no evidence that someone, somewhere, had adopted the view that this must never happen again. In other words, zero evidence that a single person gives a shit. We found substantial weaknesses in the Met's approach to tackling police corruption, he said, from failing to properly supervise police officers who had previously committed offences. Why are they still there if they've committed offences? Get rid of the fuckwits. Job done. To inadequate vetting procedures and much more besides, it is clear that the current arrangements are not fit for purpose. The Met's apparent tolerance of these shortcomings suggests a degree of indifference to the risk of corruption. According to the findings, in the last 2 years, the Met recruited people with criminal connections and more than 100 people who have committed offences. Some of these decisions may have been justifiable, but the force failed to properly supervise these people to lessen the risks. Property and exhibits procedures were dire. Hundreds of items were not accounted for, including cash and drugs. I wonder where they went, Commander Julian Bennett. In one instance, the security access code for a property store was written on the outside of the door, which goes to show just how stupid that they are. The findings also said the force does not know whether all those insensitive posts such as child protection, major crime investigation and informant handling have been cleared to the level of vetting needed. Well, obviously not. Let's just look at Wayne Couzens and David Carrick, two perverted beasts that were cleared to carry firearms. For fuck's sake. And this is cracking. More than 2,000 warrant cards issued to personnel who had since left the force were unaccounted for. Pretty Useless Patel said she was disappointed that the Met hadn't been able to cover this all up more effectively. So, no, I'm sorry, she didn't say that. She didn't. She said she was very disappointed that serious issues still persist, adding that standards must be immediately improved. I expect the Mayor of London and the new Commissioner to reverse these deficiencies as a matter of urgency. Look, Patel, nobody is going to be reversing anything. The Met is so far over the cliff, it just needs to be let go to crash to the rocks below. And something new needs to be created without people's BFFs in positions of oversight or power. Without government being able to pop in the wokest woketard to do the government's bidding. The police needs and must remain independent of the government. For too long they've been used as the government's private army, and that's got to stop. And the only way to make that change is for a complete overhaul, including its ridiculous sidearms such as the IOPC, the National Police Chief Council and the College of Policing, which are all run or staffed by ex or serving police, who are all politically motivated. Daniel Morgan's family, who are suing the Met, said unless and until there are root and branch changes in its leadership team, we consider we are unlikely to see any meaningful progress within the Met in relation to police corruption. The force welcomed the report but said it was deeply concerned at the criticism and was urgently reviewing our systems on processing, adding there is a lot we need to improve on. Deputy Commissioner Sir Stephen House said he was professionally disappointed that some of the force's anti-corruption measures had not been working well enough. Or at all, let's be fucking honest. And this was already being put right. What, by throwing some of your staff to the wolves? Making it look like you're actually doing something with the crooks within the service. All you're doing is getting rid of low-level soldiers when it's not even them, really, that need to be gone. It's the people that teach and train them. Shit rolls downhill. He added, there is a lot of work to do in order to rebuild the trust that people have in us, and we remain completely focused on building a police service Londoners can be proud of. Not going to happen, mate. It's fucked. Root to tip, it's infected. Only way to survive is to chop the fucker off. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. Until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.